Only by adapting and taking advantage of the opportunities presented do they arrive here today. Graduates, I urge you to continue adapting as you progress on your careers and lives. Change is here to stay, so you can either drive it or run from it. I suggest you drive it, and I know you will. Understand that the experience you have is a significant challenge, as it has been for many years. And a group of students, you have faced that with bold and tremendous courage. And as you endured, you are here. You all did the things no one would have expected, and you have come out stronger and smarter than before. Take hold of that success and use it to fuel the next adventure. Whether you write a revolutionary new algorithm, launch the next disruptive business model, overhaul the look of the most imagined video game or film, or maybe move us to tears with your music, each of you has something great in store. One final aspect of this group of students that has really stood out to me since I've been here is a sense of care they've shown to one another. Students are only with us for a few years, but it was very clear to me that these students have a sense of legacy and handing something over to the next generation to make it better than it was before. I have been impressed by the concern these graduates have shown for their school and for one another. From the unprecedented turnout that we had at my first town hall in 2023, their contribution to the campus beautification project, I hope that we remain here at USV that we all can be proud of. Now it is my great pleasure to return the podium back to our interim provost, Dr. Rook.
Thank you, President Spahn. Graduates, today marks a significant milestone in your lives, and I want to congratulate each and every one of you for reaching this point. It is no easy feat to complete a degree, and I'm proud to stand before you all as you prepare the next chapter of your lives. The road has been long and winding, with challenges that you couldn't have expected, but you have persevered and overcome. As we gather here today, we celebrate not only your individual accomplishments, but also the collective achievements of the academic programs that you represent. From digital art and animation, to business, game development, digital audio technology, computer science, and software development, each of you has contributed to the diversity of our academic community, and we thank you. We would also be remiss if we did not acknowledge the support that you have received from those around you. To the families, friends, and loved ones of our graduates, we extend our heartfelt thanks for all the support and encouragement that you've given them. You have been the pillars of strength, offering guidance and inspiration as they work tirelessly to reach this day. Graduates, I'd like you to turn your heads a little bit and just see how many people have come out to support you today. I wonder if I have any parents, any caregivers of a graduate? I can't hear. Any parents? How about grandparents or aunts or uncles? Do I have any brothers or sisters or cousins or nieces? Okay. Do we have any spouses or partners of a graduate? All right. What about children? Any children of graduates? Yes. Mom and dad in the classroom? What about good friends or best friends? Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here throughout the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. We know that these graduates couldn't have done it without your support. While the students pursued their dreams with the support of family and friends, they were guided by an amazing group of faculty and staff. Would all the USV faculty and staff, anybody out there want to raise your hand to be recognized? Anybody up here want to be recognized? A lot of our staff are still running around working, so keep it going. Whether presenting to a class, advising a student organization, or just having a conversation in the hallway, or on a Zoom call, maybe, these dedicated individuals bring passion to their work that is truly inspiring. Their expertise, knowledge, and experience have helped shape these graduates into the professionals they have become, so thank you all as well. Today, we celebrate, and tomorrow, you take on the world. There are even more twists and turns ahead of you than those that lie behind. But there are rewards out there as well. What will you do? What will you create and share with your family, your friends, and your community? Who will you help on their journey? What ideas will you explore and what questions will you answer? What can you, and only you, contribute? I, for one, can hardly wait to find out. In the program, I shared a quote from one of my favorite authors, Ursula K. Le Guin. It was about dragons, naturally. I'll share another one as I conclude here from another of her novels called The Dispossessed. When I read it, it reminded me a little bit of myself, and I think it might speak to you as well. She says, there's a point around the age of 20 when you have to choose whether to be like everybody else the rest of your life or to make a virtue of your peculiarities. And now, speaking of virtue, I'd like to introduce our 2023 student speaker, Medel Delara. Wait. One sec. Medel represents what many of you have experienced, adapting and thriving in an unpredictable environment. When Medel began their studies, this institution was known as Cogswell College, and we offered courses almost exclusively at our campus. We all know how that went. Instead of shying away from this change, Medel embraced it, excelling during the remote year and developing exceptional skills focused on 2D art. Then, because change just won't stop, it was time to return to campus. And Medel helped us to revitalize the campus life by leading our cosplay club as president. And with that, I'd like to invite Medel to the podium.
Good turnout today. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Medel Delara, and I am a graduating senior from the Game Design Art program. Once upon a time, 3 years ago, I was accepted into what was once known as Cogswell Polytechnical College. At the time, I was figuring out what I wanted to do with myself. Before that, I had gone to San Francisco State University and tried a major in biochemistry. And then after that, I went to City College of San Francisco for psychology. But none of these felt quite right to me. Eventually, I embraced my passion for art and looked into art schools. And once I learned that I had gotten into Cogswell, I was so excited to start studying something that I was passionate about. Now, my first year at Cogswell was not what I expected. The pandemic had just begun, so my return to school was completely online. I was stuck at home, and a lot of my education occurred through a computer screen. Every day I wondered if I'd ever get to meet the people that I logged into class with every day. And I began doubting if all of this would even be worth it. But luckily, we were able to come back to campus mid-2021, and a lot had changed by then. Cogswell rebranded into what we now know as the University of Silicon Valley. I was finally setting foot on school grounds, and for the first time, I was going to be living away from home. Now, all of this was a bit of a shock for me after being online for a year and a half. But this was also when things started looking up for me. Finally, I got to meet so many of my fellow students face to face. And slowly but surely, I started to feel more at home. At last, I could surround myself with people who liked the same things that I did. Video games, anime, cosplay, you name it. But even more importantly, I met people who saw something in me. People who gave me the chances that I was unwilling to give myself. And people who made me realize that I was enough. Now, now I never actually thought that I'd make it this far. Going to art school, teaming up with people to make video games, being the president of our cosplay club, even living away from home, meeting some of the best roommates I could ask for, and having a chance to grow up. And here I am now, giving this speech to all of you today, because of the people who saw something in me. And that's why all of us are here, because of those who believed in us. Now, with graduation comes many answers, but even more questions. Namely, what comes next? Many of us know our answer, while many more of us are still searching for that answer. And some of us may feel even more lost than we started. But no matter where you're at, know this. Wherever your journey leads you, whether it be studio work, freelancing, content creation, or wherever else your heart takes you, remember what brings you joy and motivates you to wake up every morning. To everyone listening, students, graduates, faculty, staff, friends, family, and everyone else, whatever you decide to do next, wherever you may be in your journey, whether your path is set, or you're still figuring things out, or still searching for answers, or still not where you want to be, or still fighting yourself, or still finding yourself, bring what you've got. Because who you are right now is enough. And who you are right now has what it takes. Sometimes it feels like the world is against us, and it can feel like a place without joy or meaning. But we don't have to settle for that. I ask everyone listening today, whoever you may be, use your passion to make the world a better place. One drawing at a time, one model at a time, one line of code at a time, one spreadsheet at a time, one character, one game, one animation, one comic, one script, one video, one project, one story. Make the world a better place, one passion at a time. To my fellow graduates of 2023, congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing, and I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Midel. One more time. Not easy, after being online for so long, to have to get up in front of other people. I will now ask our department directors to present the Outstanding Student Awards for their department, beginning with Mr. Peter Overstreet in the Department of Digital Art and Animation. Peter.
They didn't bookmark it for me. One of my favorite animators of all time was the legendary Ray Harryhausen, whom I once had the pleasure of meeting in person. He was the special effects wizard behind such films as Jason and the Argonauts, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and The First Men in the Moon. Even though he created fantastic worlds in stop-motion animation, his inspiration can be felt in fantastic cinema, even today in CGI-driven effects films. Before he broke into the industry, he was working on an animated version of the parable of the tortoise and the hare. He had to leave it unfinished because he was hired to animate the title character of Mighty Joe Young. That film was the beginning of his establishment as a legend. It wasn't until Harryhausen had retired and he was well in his 80s that he finally finished The Tortoise and the Hare. And when it was complete, he said, it was worth the wait. Sometimes legends take time to forge. According to the biographer Giorgio Vasari, Leonardo da Vinci spent 4 years painting the Mona Lisa. That's for my students. It is speculated that it took 20,000 men over 20 years to build the Great Pyramid of Giza. The road less traveled makes a richer foundation for most acts of creation. Some students are bound and determined to zip through the courses as fast as they can. It's a valid approach, but sometimes it takes a steady hand, a remarkable talent, a strong work ethic, and nerves of steel to take the long road to become a legend. It's my honor to recognize one such student. While reviewing their progress, I realized that they have been enrolled at USV for quite some time, but they've never disappointed. They have persevered. They have worked hard and have proven their mettle and creativity in every class that they've taken. They've earned the respect of their peers and of their instructors. And I am certain that this student will continue to shine like the star that they are. Who knows? Perhaps they too will become a legend. I am proud to announce the 2023 DAA Outstanding Student Award, which goes to Miles Dimmendorf.
Congratulations. Thanks, Pete. Before I hand over to our Department Director for Audio and Music Technology, I'd like to introduce and thank the audio student who provided us with today's processional music. So thank you, Anthony Martos, for the processional march, Drago Volante. We appreciate it. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Zona Nguyen, Department Director of Audio and Music Technology, to present the Outstanding Student Award for that department.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is my great honor to be presenting the Outstanding Student Award for Department of Audio Music Technology department to an exceptional senior. In the beginning of the program, the student appeared to be a typical diligent one, exhibiting a keen interest in the studies and demonstrating a propensity for learning by paying close attention in class. However, what impressed us was a multitude of questions from the student, indicating the earnest desire to comprehend the material rather than memorize it. In addition, the student also devoted significant time and effort to sharpen their skill in audio production, with a particular emphasis on audio editing. While undertaking an assignment in the second-year portfolio class, by recognizing the reserved and unassuming personality was hindering the ability to pursue opportunities in audio industry. This student stepped out of the comfort zone, networked like a pro, and became much more involved in various projects. And before we knew it, the student was scoring internship sound gigs left and right here and there, and several well-deserved job opportunities, including the one that student accepted and currently holds as a live sound engineer at Skyline Entertainment. Today, we recognize this outstanding student for her remarkable achievements and for proving that even the quiet ones can make some serious noise. My sincere congratulations to you, Kristen Breen.
Awesome. Well done. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium Mr. John Hayes, who is able to join us in person for this special event. Director Hayes will present 2 awards, one for the undergraduate and one for the graduate students in the Business, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation departments. Take it away, John.
Well, we have to find the list, too. In the business and innovation program, we offer 2 awards to students, one for our undergraduate program, one for our graduate program. Our first student is in the undergraduate program. Here we go. But our first student in the undergraduate program has been a model student for us. He has taken time to mentor students, he has shown professional leadership, and he has taken on his studies with a lot of seriousness. Not only that, he is also a past military member, and he has led in leadership and commitment to his community as well. And I guess Kenneth Johnson is a fine student, and he is our award winner for our undergraduate program.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
For our graduate award, we have very much the same type of student, a student that was very dedicated to his work, mentored students along the way with his program, and is also a public servant, a firefighter, one who is deeply devoted to his community, serving his community and those people around him. It is really my honor to award Daniel Vega the outstanding student.
Thanks, John. Really glad we could both be here on site. Next in line, we have Professor Baneet Sharma to announce the award for the Computer Science Department. Baneet.
You know, going after Peter, Joe, and John is challenging, right? I got to flip the pages, but guess what? I have plan A, I have my cheat sheet here, cheat sheet here, cheat sheet here, but guess what? I have it here. Where it is? Hey, here it is. Found it. All right. Believe me, I'm a human, not meta-human, okay? How you guys are doing? Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, how's the morning going? Cool. It's time to announce this year's Outstanding Student Award for Computer Science. We have an exceptional student who has left a lasting impression on the USV community with their leadership, qualities, and dedication to various committees and clubs, including ASB and BSU. I first met this superstar at the tutoring center, where their modest and shy nature caught my attention. As I got to know them better, I realized they had a brilliant mind and inner strength waiting to be unleashed. Academically, this student has excelled. receiving the praise from all their instructors. But that's not all. They also took the time to guide and mentor their peers, inspiring them to reach for the stars. And if that were not enough, this student created Google Developer Student Club. They put in a lot of effort to entice other students to join and underwent rigorous training from Google to get the club off the ground. As the founding president, they have continued to lead and inspire their peers. So it is my great honor to present this year's Outstanding Student Award for Computer Science to one and only Nazir Green. One more time, give it a round of applause to this GOAT. He is not here today, so guess what? I'm going to get in for him. I can take a picture.
Now it's about following Benit. Professor Ricardo Cayanan from the Department of Game Design and Development will now present the Outstanding Student Award for that department.
Hello. So we have a lot of awesome game developers graduating today, right? I use that in the present tense. You are all ex-students, but now you are all game developers. But when I think of an outstanding student, I think of a person who can overcome any obstacle. Someone willing to go that extra mile, like learning a new game engine, to ensure they have a working game that fits their vision. Someone who spends the time and energy outside of class to develop their skills. Someone who isn't afraid to go beyond their comfort zone to get the job done and grow as an individual. Most importantly, I think of a person whose enthusiasm and positive energy are so contagious it affects all those around them. Someone not only inspires their fellow students to be better, but their instructors as well. That person, graduating summa cum laude, and this year's outstanding graduate in game design and development is Anne Galing Alfonso. There's only 2 summa cum laudes, Anne. So there's only one game design department. You got this. Watch your step. Congratulations.
Exciting shoes. Thanks, Ricardo. I would now like to invite our Dean of Students, Mr. Carlos Brown, to present a couple of awards with Student Life and Distinguished Students. Carlos.
Good afternoon, everyone. I consider student life on campus to be the lifeblood of the institution. While students are challenged in the classroom to create visionary masterpieces, it is their student life experiences that form relationships that have the potential to last for a lifetime. Recipients of the Student Life Award literally bring life to campus, whether virtual or physical, and improve the experience of other students. The winner of this year's award had a significant impact on students as we transitioned from being fully remote through the return to campus. He joined the Black Student Union as soon as he arrived on campus, helping to have open and honest conversations about race in the era of reflection prompted by the death of George Floyd. Moving into the role of Vice President of ASB, he was able to support campus programming even while working at his internship at Blizzard. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipient of the Student Life Award, Josiah Clark. It's me again. We have so many outstanding students who make valuable contributions to the community that we would be remiss if we did not attempt to acknowledge as many of them as we can for all that they do. One such area where we rely heavily on them is in student employment. Before the pandemic, I had 17 students who reported to me. In the tutoring center, in housing, at the front desk, in IT, and various other capacities on campus, student staff have helped provide services to others and helped people of a certain generation understand what students need and how to help them to be successful. One such staff member has made valuable contributions at the front desk, at the IT desk, in the tutoring center, lots of other places. Her experience has been a difficult one, pre, during, and post-pandemic. She is the poster child for resilience, dealing with many struggles. In her time here at the institution. Her roles in ASB, BSU, and AES helped to make the campus a better place and helped me to understand that the student experiences at a deeper level. I get the pleasure of presenting the award for Outstanding Student Employee to Gabrielle Booker. I'm back. So selecting a student to receive the Distinguished Student Award was incredibly difficult. You're also talented, gifted, and unique in many wonderful ways. The student I ultimately selected was not only an outstanding student academically, but active in many aspects of campus activity. Often, these awards highlight students who we all are aware of on campus for their overt impact on the community. This year's recipient, however, is known by many, but truly seen by few. When I ask other students on campus questions about how things are going and what can be done to improve the community, her name comes up often, identified as quiet until you get to know her, opinionated but not expressive, and incredibly talented and incredibly humble. The student's impact is often felt but seldom seen. Please join me in congratulating our Distinguished Student Award recipient, Serendipity Tinsley.
Oh, thank you, Carlos. Those are fun. Those are fun awards. As the Chief Academic Officer, I am very proud to be able to deliver the next award to a student who we've talked about energy, we've talked about enthusiasm, we've talked about leadership outside of class. But when you're speaking about an educational institution, academics still matter. And I'm very proud that somebody who can lead the student body, who can be a member and a character on the campus, somebody who can share their enthusiasm for their work, also can perform at a high academic standard. I would like to introduce one more time our valedictorian, Ann Alfonso. She did the hard work, not me. At this point, I'm deviating a little bit from the printed schedule to make a special recognition of a member of the USV team who, after serving the university for over 20 years, is stepping down as a full-time member of faculty. We've spoken many times today about change, but one thing that has not changed at this institution is the dedication of this instructor. Whether teaching introductory animation classes or overseeing our complicated interdisciplinary projects, his unwavering focus was the development of the creative identity of the students in the digital art and animation program. Through numerous changes in location, degree names, department leadership, campus leadership, this teacher has been a steady guiding light along the way. I'd like to invite Dave Perry to accept an award as a token of our appreciation.
I'm supposed to talk now. I never intended to be a teacher. It was not a plan. I went into animation, enjoyed myself there for a number of years, and was given the opportunity by a friend and colleague to fill in for a class. That turned into starting at Cogswell College a couple of years later. I was struck by the opportunity because of the small class size and because of the passionate students to work closely with the students. 22 years later, longest job I've ever held, it's time for me to step down from full-time employment. It has enriched me. You have enriched me. In my attempt to make you better people, you've made me a better person. For my colleagues, thank you so much, and I hate you all now.
It's all right, Dave. Grades are still due on Tuesday. We wouldn't be where we are without our faculty. I'm a Johnny-come-lately compared to some of these folks up here. So in particular, when somebody serves an institution for that long, there really is no substitute. So thank you very much, Dave. We look forward to seeing you back on campus soon. Our commencement speaker this year comes to us from a range of places, actually. She's lived and worked in the UK, in Argentina and Guatemala, and in many cities around the United States. She has served as a professor and an academic leader, and has published books about emerging internet technology. Most recently, she comes to us from one of those little tech companies down the road that you might know as Google. Her eclectic history and lived experience seems to me to contribute directly to her role at Google as the Senior Director of Product Inclusion, Equity, and Accessibility. In my view, there really is no substitute for a wide range of experiences when developing systems, techniques, or technologies that you actually want other people to use. Ms. Eve Anderson also sits on our Board of Trustees and as a future employer of graduates like ours, has already provided USV with an invaluable insight and guidance. And I'd like to invite her now to the podium to share her thoughts with this graduating class. Eve?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for that introduction, Adam. He made it much more interesting than the one written in the program. Thank you for inviting me to be here today, Chris. It is so exciting to be here. Congratulations to our graduates. As Adam mentioned, I'm very privileged and honored to be a member of the Board of Trustees of the university. And I've been able to see over the past 2 years the evolution of the university. And I've been able to meet students, faculty, see some of your projects, which have been outstanding. And I feel like USV really is a special place, sitting at this junction of technology and the arts and this beautiful combination of the two. And I'm proud to be involved with the university, and I congratulate you on becoming part of this place. As Adam mentioned, I have a role at Google overseeing an organization. It's a cross-functional organization. The people on my team who I manage, there are software engineers, user experience designers, researchers who understand how people use our products, product managers. Maybe some of these are roles that you all are going to have one day, or at least you'll work with people with these roles. I have worked in tech for 25 years. It's been a fascinating journey. I've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and I thought I would just share a few that could be useful for you as new graduates going out into the workforce. So let's begin. Let's begin in the 1990s. I was an undergrad. I was actually studying mechanical engineering, but the web was just starting to take off. And back then, as I'm sure you know, you couldn't, if you had something you wanted to share with the world, you couldn't just post it on TikTok or Instagram. You actually had to build a website. And I wanted to share something with the world, and that was my deep, deep love for the number pi. And so I learned to code. And my website, it actually gained some amount of internet fame back in the 90s. And this led to two things. One was a whole bunch of paid programming gigs. So I got a lot of experience, even as an undergrad. And then the second thing was I met these MIT students, computer science students, who were just as nerdy as I was. And when I finished my master's, I moved out to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and started a company with my nerdy MIT friends. And from them, so I had, of course, learned to code on my own, but from them, I learned how to write good code. And being a co-founder of a company, not only was I writing code, but I was finding and working with clients. I was hiring and managing people. I actually did all the income statements and the balance sheets for the first couple years before we had an accountant. And I TA'd a course at MIT that helped us to recruit students, so kind of a win-win situation. And it was such a fascinating learning experience. But then something happened This happens to a lot of company founders. I didn't know it at the time, but now, of course, being in Silicon Valley, I'm sure all of you know, the venture capitalists fired me. They fired me and the other co-founders because we wanted to take the company in a different direction. We did open source web software. They wanted to close it down. So they fired me. But I'm still glad to have had that experience because it was such a diverse, amazing learning experience. And I met great people, some of whom are at Google now. Well, within a week of being fired, I was on an airplane to Guatemala because I had visited before, and I knew I wanted to go there and do Spanish immersion someday. And so I thought, well, I've just been fired. So I flew to Guatemala, and my plan was to stay there for 2 months and do Spanish immersion, and I did do that for 2 months. But I got to know a professor at the technical university there who was actually using software that my team and I had written at my company. And I ended up spending a full year in Guatemala teaching computer science and traveling around the whole country, going to mountain towns where people spoke more Mayan languages than Spanish, and staying in a hotel that cost $1 a night with a dirt floor and no lock on the door, but it was $1 a night, so it was amazing. I recommend, whenever you have the chance, try to live in another country at least once. It teaches you so much. You learn what is innate about you versus what is a product of the culture that you've grown up in. And one of the things I learned about myself was that I tended to take a more transactional approach in my interactions with people. Whereas I've lived in 4 countries, as Adam mentioned, and I've worked with people who really take this longer relationship-driven point of view, where at the first meeting, maybe you're not accomplishing anything, except you're building trust. And this has been so useful for me in the years that have followed as I work with people from all different walks of life. And part of my job is to build relationships and influence people across the entire company of Google. So thank goodness for that experience that I've had. Well, after Guatemala, I got this great opportunity to help start a computer science university in Salt Lake City. This was so new. We had 0 students. So it's kind of the opposite of USV, which is 136 years old. We were 0 years old. And I got to hire and manage faculty. I got to lead the development of the computer science program from the ground up. And our niche was that we were trying to help our graduates become the type of software engineers that companies want to hire. And so I worked hand in hand with a lot of people from different companies like Microsoft and IBM to define student projects as well as the desired outcomes that we wanted our graduates to have. And do you know what they asked for? Yes, a strong foundation in computer science theory, that's really important. But they wanted people who could collaborate, who could communicate, and who could work in teams, because they spent a whole year on average, they felt, teaching people to become good team members when they graduated. So my advice for you graduates is really focus on the teamwork aspect of whatever job you get. Now, I just heard somebody say that's true. You must be an employer. This also is part of why I'm here today, because one of the co-founders of this university is on the board of trustees, so it comes full circle. After that, I ended up at Google. This was 16 years ago that I joined Google, and I had a lot of different roles at first. Not going to take you through all of them. I'm going to fast forward to the interesting parts. So I started in Mountain View at headquarters, moved over to London, and while I was in London, and I was doing technical partnerships work, while I was in London, I saw a job posting that caught my eye. It was for a one-year assignment in Buenos Aires, Argentina, doing strategy for new markets across Latin America. So in other words, this was a job in which the language would be Spanish, it was in a different country, it was in a different department with people I didn't know doing stuff I had never done before. And I applied immediately. And they gave me the job. And I learned later on from the hiring manager that there were other people who had applied for that job who actually had experience doing the stuff that I was doing, but they chose me. So my advice to you graduates, especially anybody who ever feels imposter syndrome or who holds yourself back from applying for what you want to do, just don't hold yourself back. Maybe the hiring manager will filter out your resume, maybe, but maybe they'll see in you some really amazing transferable skills, and they'll say, this is exactly the person that I need for the job. Now, I will admit, though, when I got to Argentina, I really sucked at the job. For the first 3 months, I was getting my Spanish back up to speed. I was doing this work I had never done before. Man, it was hard. But eventually I got the hang of it. And I'm so glad that I went to Argentina for 2 reasons. The very most important reason is that I met my husband there. And he is here, sitting in the front row with my 6-year-old son, Oliver. But the other reason I'm really glad I did that was I made a lot of relationships and gained some skills that were then really useful for me later on as I got a new role at Google, which actually was up my alley, which was managing a Latin American-based technical team. So that experience was so useful. So my experiences, they're pretty varied, I would say, but the one thing that they have in common is that I stretch myself and learn new things. And I feel like my career has been like a rubber band, going from stretching and learning new things to executing and showing competence. Stretch, competence. And that has led to a lot of skills, and really varied skills, and also just an extremely interesting career. Now there's one last role that I'd like to tell you about, and it's part of my job today, which is accessibility, which means building software to help people with disabilities. And like many good things in life, it all starts with the number pi. So when I first joined Google, I was living in Mountain View, as I mentioned, and I was in a cafe in downtown, and I saw a guy wearing this pi t-shirt. And I went up to him and I said, hey, I have the exact same shirt. Well, it turned out, you can probably guess this, he worked at Google, and he introduced me to a friend of his who is a blind engineer at Google. His friend is named Raman. And then time passed, London, Argentina's stuff, and then about 10 years ago, I randomly ran into Raman again in one of the Google cafes in New York City. And he mentioned to me he had a team of 5 engineers. They were looking for a product manager to help, with roadmaps and all that kind of stuff for the work the engineers were doing. And I immediately jumped at the chance. To me, it was so exciting, this opportunity to help Google fulfill its mission. I've always had this innate belief that everybody in the world deserves a level playing field. No matter who they are, they have the right to an education, to work opportunities, to communication with family, with friends, to being part of society. And so I was so excited to be able to join this job. And so for a few months, that was my job to work with these engineers on the software they were building. But as I looked across what Google was doing, I noticed that accessibility was not systematic whatsoever. Every team did their own thing. Sometimes that was nothing. And I realized, well, we need to do something about this across the company. And so I changed my job. And I never got permission. Nobody ever said I could do this. I just started looking across the company and figuring out, what do we need to do to really embed accessibility in the entire company? And so that's what my job became. And it was actually a lot harder than I expected to completely change the culture and how a company of over 100,000 people operates. So it was really hard. And probably nobody would have blamed me if I had decided to do something else. But I'm glad I did. Because when you're passionate about what you're doing, you can overcome all kinds of hurdles. You have this energy within yourself that lets you just work through each thing and get over it. My hurdles that I had to work through, though, they were nothing compared to those of an engineer named Ada, who I worked with. Ada was working in a different department of Google, and she was diagnosed with ALS, which is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a degenerative neuromuscular disease. And Ada did some soul searching, and she decided that what she wanted to do, she wanted to remain at Google and work on software to help other people with disabilities. And Ada's disease progressed, but she kept on writing code, even after she couldn't use her hands anymore, even after she couldn't use her voice anymore. She would use head tracking software to write code that would help other people use their software. And after Ada passed away, I was talking with her husband, and he said to me, he said that Ada had told him that she felt like she lived 1 year longer than she would have otherwise because she had this thing that was so meaningful to her. So my advice to you graduates is, think about your values, think about what you care about, what drives you, and let that guide your career. Because if you do that, you will accomplish more than you ever thought you could. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Eve. We really appreciate that you could be here. Before we move on and present the candidates for graduation, I'm really excited for us to share with you a short video that we've put together that documents some of the work that our students have done and some of the feeling of life at USV. So if we could cue up the video, turn your attention to the screens. There we go. good stuff. I wish something I did was set to that good a score, make everybody happy, but no such luck. I get to just stand here and speak. On that note, it's time to begin the real show. The presentation of candidates and the conferring of degrees. So, a tiny bit of housekeeping. I ask that the audience remain at your seats, okay? Please don't come into the aisles. We have professional photographers, how you guys doing? Taking photos. They will be made available to you for free, so don't come running up and down the aisles. The students need to be able to walk in and out of the aisles, okay? And please be considerate of your fellow audience members. You can cheer, you can clap, you can holler. Please don't set off any poppers or air horns, that sort of thing, okay? Okay? Just your personal noise. Okay. Graduates, today's walk crossing this stage will seem short in comparison to your journey through your time at USV. But these few steps signify a monumental shift from student to professional. The word commencement refers to a beginning, not an ending. So consider this celebration and this ceremony to be the start of a new phase in your life. Use the skills and knowledge that you have acquired during your time with us, along with your own drive and determination, to keep that journey going. You must continue. Learning doesn't stop today. You must develop a path of lifelong learning. The world today is moving faster than it did for any generation before you, and what is new today will be old tomorrow. Harness the passion within you and be determined to know more tomorrow than you do right now. So, let these few steps across the stage be a beginning, not an ending. To announce the names of today's graduates, it's my pleasure to welcome back to the podium Mr. David Perry.
Candidates for a Master of Arts in Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Kristen Nguyen, magna cum laude. Daniel Vega, summa cum laude. Michael De Leon, cum laude. Eliud Van Slytman, magna cum laude. We have one student today who is receiving 2 degrees. With a Bachelor of Arts in Game Design Art, cum laude, and a Bachelor of Science in Game Design Engineering, cum laude, Carl Heideberger. Candidates receiving a Bachelor's of Business Administration. Michael McCoy. Kenneth Johnson, magna cum laude. Melana Duran. Candidates receiving a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science: Christopher Garcia. Jan Andreas Santos. Alexander Ochoa. Elson Paul Rial, cum laude. Daniel Ordonez, cum laude. Joshin Rai, magna cum laude. Michael McGinnis, magna cum laude. Candidates receiving a Bachelor of Science in Digital Audio Technology: Spencer Edgett. Gabrielle Booker. Marcus Kowalski, cum laude. Kristen Breen, cum laude. Zach Ross. Claire Ellis, cum laude. Bryson Choi. Arian Gabriel. Anthony Martos. Cameron Arden. Ronald D'Souza. Candidates receiving Bachelor of Arts in Digital Art and Animation. Caitlin Michaelis. Carolina Tana. David Rocha. Miles Devendorf. Sarah Rose. Delaney Buell. Nathan Torres. Colin Flynn. Serendipity Tinsley. Cum laude. Jason Rose, magna cum laude. Caitlin Rosen, magna cum laude. Dylan Wheeler. Emilio Lopez. Jennifer Isamatsu. Ha Nguyen, magna cum laude. Lee Jackson, cum laude. Aaron Cruz, cum laude. Ashley Barnes. Kevin Santos. Kevin Urquiza. Kenneth Jukaban. Ernest Taganas. Candidates receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Game Design Art. Joseph Mendoza, cum laude. Raphael Cooper. Medel Delara. Christopher Gonzalez, cum laude. Nicole Ann Alfonso, summa cum laude. Indira Visuet, cum laude. Devonna Clay. Grace Cardozo, cum laude. Bryn Starren. Leo Constantinides. Uriel Diaz. Alec Oliver. Jessica Gilmet, magna cum laude. Alice Ree. Nathan Tam, cum laude. Matt Marant, cum laude. Josiah Clark. Candidates receiving a Bachelor of Science in Game Design Engineering. John Heyman. Michael Barrow, magna cum laude. Thomas Bromer. Andrew Marks, magna cum laude. Michael Parody. Igor Faraz, cum laude. Leroy Brock. Christopher Michaelis, cum laude.
We feeling good? Awesome, awesome. I am going to stall for a couple of seconds while our graduates make their way back to their seats. Will the candidates for graduation please rise? Mr. President. Mr. President, upon recommendation of the faculty of the University of Silicon Valley, I certify that each candidate on the official graduation list has completed the requirements for the appropriate degree, and the degrees may be conferred.
Don't they look great? Thank you, Provost Rook. Upon the recommendation of the university faculty and by the authority vested in me by the University of Silicon Valley Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon each of you present and in absentia the degrees Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Business Administration, or Master of Arts to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations on your achievement.
Graduates, I told you this would come. On the count of 3. This is the audience participation portion of the show. Please move your tassels from right to left on the count of 3. Audience, 3, 2, 1. All right, and one more time, can we please show some appreciation for the support, for the families, the friends, the loved ones, everybody who's made this today possible. Thank you very much all for being here. And to all the staff, the professors, the mentors, everybody on stage, everybody making this show happen behind the scenes, thank you as well. And you may be seated. As we bring today's ceremony to a close, I want to thank everyone who has worked so hard to make today possible and successful. I'm looking at people like Eric and Carlos and Jason. There's an awful lot of effort put into making a show like this run. Thank you, everybody. Leslie, Liz, Mila running the traffic control, Amy helping me out back here, everybody, tons of people. Thank you all very much. Couldn't have done this without you. Finally, graduates, it has been my honor and privilege to be a small part of your educational journey. The road before you still has many detours and pitfalls, but I am confident that you have the ability to persevere, and I hope the years ahead bring you many more wonderful occasions. All of us here at USV are immensely proud of you for getting this far. But more than pride is the knowledge that because of you, we're certain that the world is going to be just that little bit better. Congratulations. Will you all please rise and remain standing at your seats until our recession has ended?